If you've ever wanted to know what it feels like to have a heart attack every day, be a horse. Because every day is an exercise in multiple mini heart attacks every single time something catches your eye out of the corner of your eye. You don't know what it is, but it's definitely a predator and it's going to kill you. And you need to run away from it really fast. That is what it's like when you live as a horse. And it gets worse when you live as a horse in a human society. And the reason it's worse for a horse in a human body living in a human society is that the requirements of living in a human society require you many times to go from one drastic environment to another drastic environment. Horses, like many other prey animals, like to have a routine. And we tend to freak out when that routine gets messed up. In some cases, in my case, that need of a routine can manifest itself in a mild form of OCD. Something that drives my boss up the wall because I will take 10 times longer to do something because it has to be absolutely perfect. Because that's how that's how I've always done it, and I actually will feel ill if I change how I do something. For the longest time, I actually have had to force myself to eat other foods. As a child, before my equine soul actually got to fully wake up, I marveled at how, for instance, my cat could eat the same bland food every day, all day. And yet now, as a horse, that's exactly what I do. And if I don't force myself not to, I will eat spaghetti every night for dinner, and then I will eat the exact same cereal every day for breakfast and lunch. And then even when I did initially mix up my diet, so I wasn't eating the same thing for breakfast and lunch, which that in of itself was a wild departure. But then I decided to alternate my lunch. So every other day, I have macaroni and cheese for lunch, and then SpaghettiOs. And I actually have to force myself to alternate that. And even then, with this whole trying to mix things up like that, I do it in a strictly regimented every other day. So if I had macaroni and cheese yesterday, I am not having it today. Or I might want it today, not having it today because I had it yesterday. So now I'm having the alternate one. And then tomorrow I can have macaroni and cheese. And then I do the same thing for dinner, and I do a similar thing for breakfast. I am used to leaving my house at this exact same time within a few minutes every morning to go to work. I'm used to coming home at the exact same time every day from work. When I on the weekends, I do the exact same things every weekend at about the same time. That's one reason why I've actually had a lot of trouble with making these recordings. Because to make these recordings, and because making these recordings is not actually something as part of my daily routine, I actually have to cut into another part of my daily routine to make these, which in of itself is actually physically painful for me to do. So me sitting down here right now, making this recording for you to listen to, is actually causing me physical pain because there's something else that I normally would be doing at this time. So one thing to understand, if you have a otherkin friend who is a horse or a deer or some other similar animal, we are very, very regimented creatures, and we tend not to like any kind of change. And that any kind of change can either be changed to our routine, or, for instance, my neighbor is putting up a fence so that they can let their dogs out. Their fence does not affect me in any way. I still don't like it because it's a change to my environment. I don't like changes to how the road is that I have to travel along. No matter what that change is, no matter how beneficial that change is, I don't like it because it's something different, which means it's something bad.